So, folks, I wanted to talk real quick about one of Donald Trump's latest executive orders, which is titled Fostering the Future for American Children and Families. And let's just get into it, because basically Donald Trump, along with Melania, have decided that they want to overhaul the American foster care system. And basically everything that they're doing seems really not great. So let's take a look, shall we? My administration is dedicated to empowering mothers and fathers to raise their children in safe and loving homes. When crises prevent such an arrangement, our nation's foster care system must be ready to serve children in need. Today's foster care system must be improved in a number of important ways. Let's see what the improvements are, I guess. Children must stay in foster care for years.
Now that I have power back and I'm watching streams that say senators and fishnets emote when hashtag Team Arden cause seeing you defend that was so worth it. Pepe laugh.
Hell yeah, Cliff. Thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. Appreciated. Here's where it starts turning bad, like almost immediately. Children often stay in foster care for years, and those who transition out due to age frequently face uncertain futures without the support systems essential to educational, career, and relational success. Many caseworkers are overburdened. Information systems are often outdated. Some jurisdictions and organizations maintain policies that discourage or prohibit qualified families from serving children in need as foster and adoptive parents. And right here, we start getting into the bad shit. Because of their sincerely held religious beliefs or adherence to basic biological truths. So, basically what this is doing is that it is loosening the standards of who can foster children. And in our country, there are, or have been historically, a number of standards that families or organizations need to meet in order to be deemed safe enough to have foster kids. You know, basically the idea being, if you're going to foster kids, you shouldn't be indoctrinating them into your religious beliefs, and you shouldn't be, you know, bigoted towards them. And what Donald Trump is saying here is, let's let religious organizations foster children. Let's let, parents who want to adhere to basic biological truths foster trans kids. So, yeah, this is one of those things where, like, no, actually, this is incredibly bad. Just right off the bat. And this has also been, I want to point out, a long-term goal for a lot of folks on the religious right, because they want to bring back kind of this idea of Christian indoctrination to, like, you know, the poor, the impoverished, the folks who are bound, the children who are bouncing around the foster care system. They want to, like, inject organized religion into that and allow churches to kind of set up networks of religiously funded foster care. And it's not good. Also, it opens it up to pedos. Sadly, the current foster care system we have is also not perfect. Our nation's children and youth and the families who care for them deserve better. To that end, my administration, with special leadership from the First Lady, will harness federal support, technology, and strategic partnerships to provide young Americans in or transitioning out of the foster care system with the tools they need to become successful adults. Section 2, modernizing the child welfare system. The Secretary of Health and Human Services shall, within 180 days of the date of this order, take appropriate action to update applicable regulations, policies, and practices to improve the collection, publication, utility, and transparency of state-level child welfare data, including by improving collection of data and information indicative of child well-being and safety, eliminating duplicative or unnecessary high-cost, low-value reporting requirements, and expanding and expediting child welfare data publication. So, if you are getting rid of high-cost data collection, low and deeming certain information low value that is currently being collected, it means that you're basically opening up these children to more abuse. Like, the collection of this data that already exists is intended to protect those children. Yeah, and Bregwin brings up an excellent point that it's likely going to be driven by some kind of AI model. 2, promote modernization of state child welfare information systems and use the most effective foster care management and outcome tracking platforms, including by incorporating such modernization efforts as are part of information exchange with or technical assistance provided to states. 3, expand states' use of technological solutions, including predictive analytics, again, AI, bullshit, and tools powered by artificial intelligence to increase caregiver recruitment and retention rates, improve caregiver and child matching, and deploy federal child welfare funding to maximally effective purposes and recipients. Like, okay, so we're talking about using an AI system to dole out, like, funding for foster families? Like, what is this? And Brooklyn to NW brings up the point, not collecting data will have the effect of disappearing them so they can possibly be used for slave labor. Well, we're getting to that because we need to talk about the opportunities that they get in the foster care system. We haven't gotten there yet. 4, publish annually a scorecard that measures and is used to evaluate state-level achievement of key outcomes and metrics that reduce unnecessary entries into foster care. Again, unnecessary entries into foster care? Like, what? It's going to... What are you talking about? If children need, foster families, they need... All right. Decrease the time between reports of child maltreatment and investigations. Reduce child injuries and fatalities caused by caregiver neglect and abuse. Increase caregiver recruitment and retention. Improve caregiver and child matching. Reduce placement disruptions. Decrease the average time that children spend in foster care. Accelerate permanent placement for children, and increase partnerships and collaboration with appropriate non-governmental entities, including faith-based organizations.
My prediction is they will just claim whatever shitty decisions they make is AI and thus is proven to work.
I mean,
yeah, screw that.
Yeah, probably. But I would also just point out here, accelerate permanent placement for children. What does that mean? Well, in practical terms, what it means for the in the foster care system is that, typically foster children are held in the system for 2 years, and before they then get placed in permanent, families. They become available for adoption or what have you. And that is to give their family of origin time to get their shit together so that they can, provide a safe environment to their child, right? That time window is very important because it's the window during which a child can be reclaimed from the foster system. And so when you are talking about accelerating permanent placement for these children, you're talking about narrowing the window of time where their family of origin can get them. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I read this and I just start seeing flashbacks of the residential school system. This seems really, really bad. Oh, this really is just gonna open up kids to more abuse and human trafficking? Yeah. And increase partnerships and collaboration with appropriate non-governmental entities, including faith-based organizations. Because again, a lot of this is the desire to redirect children to, Southern Baptist organizations that will do, conversion therapy or, put them to work in the fields, etc., building their character. It's wild. We're not at the end yet either. Section 3, Fostering the Future. The Secretary of Health and Human Services, in coordination with the Office of the First Lady and heads of other relevant executive departments and agencies, shall, within 180 days of the date of this order, establish a Fostering the Future initiative to develop partnerships with agencies and leading private sector organizations, academic institutions, and nonprofit entities to create new educational and employment opportunities for individuals who are in or are transitioning out of the foster care system. And I do want to note a change in language here, which is that instead of talking about them as children, they're talking about them as individuals. Notice that there has now been a change in the language here quite a bit, because you're talking about children in the foster system. Adults typically aren't in the foster care system. And so if we're talking about employment opportunities available, we're talking about child labor. Oh, God. B, develop a plan to launch in conjunction with the National Design Studio. And if any of you are wondering, what the hell is the National Design Studio? I got good news for you. I did some digging. But if you're not familiar, don't worry, because a lot of people aren't, because it's pretty new. Wow, look at this, an official website of the United States government. Well, it says it on here, it must be true. The National Design Studio is leading the America by Design initiative, working to improve how Americans experience their government online, in person, and the spaces in between. And that's the only thing on this website other than signing up for a newsletter and applying to work there. And that's it. And except that there's a link to this Twitter profile. So let's go there, and you get this, and you get a couple of these different websites. And the National Design Studio is like retweeting different things. Like, what is this, right? Well, if you go down all the way to the first post here, you will notice that the first post from the National Design Studio is from Edward Korestein. Who might Edward Korestein be? Let's take a look. Oh, some call me Big Balls. That's right, folks. This is an initiative created by the Doge Boys. That's right. This guy is going to be in charge of helping the initiative with foster care children. And not only that, of course, you've also got Joe Gebbia, who's also, I believe, one of the other Doge Boys here. And you'll see back in August, I'm honored to be appointed by President Trump as the first chief design officer of the United States of America. And basically what the National Design Studio is supposed to do is to go around. Yeah, he's another one of the Doge guys. It's their job now is to go around and redesign different Trump initiatives or different government websites to make them look slick and nice for the modern era. Except, they're doing a lot of other shady stuff because they're using all of that data, obviously, in a number of different ways. Yeah, it's their propaganda wing, etc. Hence why National Design Studio is being tasked with creating a Fostering the Future online platform to help individuals who have been in foster care by assessing their current needs, providing guidance regarding accessing federal, state, and local programs and services for which they are eligible, including housing, education, employment, healthcare, and mentoring services, offering a searchable database of those and other available resources, and generating customized plans that support their self-sufficiency and success.
Return of the Doughboys.
Right? Thank you for the $5 dono, Nathan. But keep in mind here, folks, in principle, right, I don't have a big problem with there being like some kind of online portal that you can look at that has a bunch of great resources that you and people in a situation like yours can access, right? I don't really have a problem with that. What I do kind of have a problem with here, though, is that this website is just going to be collecting a bunch of data from children. And then notice the language here. Generating customized plans that support their self-sufficiency and success, which is basically this online portal is going to use AI to generate basically a life plan or different services you can or cannot access based on the data you've input into the system. Not great. C, develop a strategy to reallocate funds returned by states from federal programs designed to assist individuals transitioning out of foster care so that such returned funds are used to promote educational success, occupational advancement, and financial literacy and self-sufficiency for individuals transitioning out of foster care. And I just want you all to know that when returned funds are being used to promote educational success, they're talking about like private school vouchers, right? Like, they're talking about private school vouchers and basically gigantic handouts to bullshit. They're bullshit friends who are going to make bullshit companies to just siphon off this cash. You know, it's all bullshit that they're going to grift off of. Increase flexibility in education and training vouchers to expand access to individuals transitioning out of foster care to short-term career-focused and credential awarding programs, and facilitate, in coordination with the Secretary of the Treasury and the Secretary of Education, state use of educational scholarships created through tax-credited donations to scholarship-granting organizations for children in foster care. The use of educational scholarships created through tax-credited donations to scholarship-granting organizations. So basically, you know, rich folks can funnel money into these scholarship programs to create their own workforce. It's cool stuff. Just let's use foster children to pad our bottom line. Section 4, maximizing partnerships with Americans of faith. The Secretary of Health and Human Services, in coordination with the Director of the White House Faith Office and the Director of the White House Office of Intergovernmental Affairs, shall A, take appropriate action to address state and local policies and practices that inappropriately prohibit participation in federally funded child welfare programs by qualified individuals or organizations based on their sincerely held religious beliefs or moral convictions. B, take appropriate action to increase partnerships between agencies and faith-based organizations and houses of worship to serve families whose children have been placed in foster care or are at risk of being placed in foster care. I would also just throw out there that, like, if you're a Christian nationalist and you're like super chill about this, are you super chill about the idea of like the government working in conjunction with like Muslim organizations? Are you super thrilled? Like, because like this should work in a number of different directions that you would not be okay with.
Church and state.
Yeah, we do, Nathan. We really, really do. But like, Christian nationalists like this because they understand Donald Trump is also, you know, a Christian nationalist, though he might not ideologically believe in the cause. And they are banking on the fact that, like, oh yeah, you're obviously going to prioritize Christians and not, you know, Muslims or Jewish people or any of the other minor religions of the United States. And like, I mean, they're probably right about that, but like, this all sucks. Like, we had standards for this for a reason, so that children weren't just indoctrinated into different religions, so that being in the foster care system wasn't essentially a way of, you know, proselytizing to children. You know, like, there was a reason we had that barrier. And also, just as a reminder, like, religious institutions and families could still participate in the foster care system before. It's just that they had to meet standards. Oh, great, that's going to enable conversion therapy for foster kids. Yeah, like, I understand that this executive order comes with like a genuine price tag in like the lives of children. You know, it's genuinely a pretty heinous order, and I'm pretty upset about it, to be completely honest with you guys. It's going to be dressed up as making the system more efficient. Yeah. No, it is. It's going to be like, oh, yes, you see, we have a more efficient system because we use AI now. And we've allowed all of the big religions to indoctrinate the foster children. God, it's really, really awful. With that being said, like the stream, comment, subscribe, do the things that help the channel grow. I'm so mad I can't end this properly, but we're done with the segment.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather around. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.